Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of You Can Sit With Us. I'm one of your hosts, Becky. I'm joined by Matthew.
Hello.
We got Rainie on the ones and twos.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Paul.
I knew it. And I was going to say, do you know how to say my last name?
No,
But everybody,
I don't.
it's a lifelong thing.
Croce.
No, it should be.
Yeah.
It should be Croce. That's the Italian pronunciation of
Croce.
it. But it's Croce because it was Americanized at some point.
Gross.
Paul
And
Croce.
I don't tell people my last name because I was like, not like, it was always a
Do you want to be known by Paul? Like
I was,
Cher.
Yes.
It's Paul.
Yeah, that's true too. No, but it was like from elementary school, it was always like, can I say crotch was always what I Can I say crotch?
Oh, you listen to this
didn't think
podcast.
that.
You know you can say crotch.
I didn't even think that. Paul Crotch.
Paul
Paul
Gross.
Crotch.
Like everything was always
Gross.
like
Gross.
a twist on my last name. So I don't tell people my last name. I just go Croce, Croce. And
Croce.
then it comes after that. But I always buzz right through it. So
Cross,
let's embrace
Croce.
it. It's Paul
Embrace
Croce.
The
Paul
crows.
Croce.
Yes.
Embrace the crows.
Yes, it's
Welcome.
the Croce.
We're so excited to have
Thank
you
you.
on. We've been
Thank you.
meaning to have, we've been wanting.
We've been talking
have
about
you
this
here.
for a while.
Yeah.
And
Long
I am
time.
very, very, I'm a huge fan, as I've told you. I am. I was in my top, I think you were my number 4 listen to Spotify podcast of last year. And the only
privilege.
I've listened to every episode.
For the people that don't know,
Oh yeah. Who I am.
how do
are
you
you?
know? How do you know us?
are
How do we
you?
know you?
I know you because my husband, Nick Rufka, is the COO of of Second Try.
Yes.
And he has been with the company for I think like 5 or 6 years, maybe
Yeah.
longer.
Long time.
Yeah.
And I have been part of productions where I was in a couple episodes early on, and then I got hired to write some shows, one of them being Common Sense, and then the other is Drop in the City. And there were a couple of little episodes I did along the way, but those were the 2 big ones. And yeah, it's been like, and I met you and you in Australia, I think, was when
my
I
God, was
first
that the
met you
first time?
both.
So was that the first time?
Yeah.
Australia?
In
Wow.
Australia.
YouTube Australia's.
Where Nick was brought along and did a lot of the episodes there. And I was like, well, I'm not going to get to Australia otherwise. So I'm hopping over too.
Same.
And we went to New Zealand afterwards. It was amazing. But you guys were so nice right at the gate, meeting just this hubby over here who just popped in. And and working with the company has been like such a joy from the jump. Like really everything we work on is so much fun. And Rainie and I actually talked about this at Jonathan's birthday, but like producing for the Try family is like, I cannot say enough about it being like just so much fun. And the difference from what I used to do in my career prior to being a digital producer, because I've produced a lot of other digital content. I did a YouTube series for 4 years with a woman named Jeannie Mai called Hello Honey, and a bunch of other shows like that. But coming over to work with the Try Guys was so refreshing because it's like, this is the show, this is how we want to do it. We go back and forth. We like create the sort of like flow of the show itself, and then you just go make it. In my experience, I worked for almost, I'm going to age myself, but like 15 years in TV development, reality TV development.
Wow.
And that was with a couple different production companies, Mark Burnett Productions, who did Survivor. I worked for TLC, the network that brought us Honey Boo Boo, VH1, the network that brought us Flavor of Love.
Flavor of love. Yeah, Flavor of
Love
love.
that show.
And World of Wonder, who brings us
World of Wonder.
Drag Race.
So I have a
RuPaul's Drag
great
Race.
like history in
Yeah,
TV.
so many good spots.
But the twist with TV development is that like you can spend 2 months developing a show idea to bring it to one network, and they can just say no. And that's 2 months of creativity and writing and fun that never gets seen.
Yeah,
and
totally.
here, something like Drop in a City, we developed it and then we made it. And then as the shows come out, you go, what do we want to do differently next time? And then you change it and you
Right.
make it different. And it's just so much healthier than like creating. I'm truly 98% of the stuff I've written in my life will never be seen. And here, it gets made like quickly and with smiles. Like it's really and not all smiles.
People
I know
are
it's not like
excited.
it's
Yeah,
still a
people
lot
are
of work
excited.
and a lot of like time that goes into it. But a
Yeah.
Drop in a City in particular, it was such a blast to work on. Like that's the most fun I've ever had working on any content. ever.
Oh.
Seriously.
Ooh.
It's a
Without question.
fun show.
It is a fun
It's
show.
really
Very
funny.
silly.
Yeah.
It's really, really fun. And and that was one too, where like the evolution of that show, when it began, Nick actually produced the first one, which was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I took what he had done and tried to adapt it for, I think the first one was Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And in Miami, they would show up to places you see in the video. There's like a lot of stuff that was closed. So I just gave them, this is where you go. This is how many points you got for it. And we found out that they couldn't do those things. So they'd show up at the jet skis. The jet skis weren't open. And it made for good content, but it was frustrating, I think, for the guys that they can experience
Demoralizing
more.
a
And they're
little bit.
running around and it's humid and Jared's about to pass out. Kwesi went off a jet ski. Like it was a lot. And so we came back and the notes were like, hey, can we just like see what places are more like business operating hours and things like that. And it evolved into in Philly and in San Diego, I was now calling businesses ahead of time to be like, would you be interested if the Try Guys came? And they were all like, oh my God, yes. I would actually say this. Philly was a dream. Philly, the people in Philly, if I can give a shout out to the people in Philadelphia, you are wonderful, amazing people. I was like, it's a city of brotherly love. Like you really do feel that they wanted this because it's a win-win. We're not asking for anything for free because there's budget they have to spend.
Yeah.
And the businesses get promoted. So it's just a win-win. And so many places like the tourism board introduced me to all these people and they set up all these experiences like with the pretzel twisting and things like that. So
fun.
And I told every business like, thank you so much for this. The only thing is I can't guarantee you that they're going to come because they get to choose what they do.
Right.
So there were some people that, like there were a couple experiences that I really, really wanted to make sure that they got there. And I was even like watching we have a shared Google Doc. And on my day off, I'm just watching, like seeing them cross things off. I'm like, yes, they made it to the pretzels. I love the pretzel people. They made it. And then in San Diego was kind of a little more like, a little cold shouldery. But I was like, I think it's because San Diego doesn't need that much.
Tourism.
Right? Like they're doing pretty good. So they don't really need quite as much. But then there were a few people in San Diego that I was really pulling for. One in particular, I have to say. There was a woman who works at a beauty, it's a self-run business. And she like rents out a spot in another beauty parlor setup. And she was going to do one eyelash extensions by hand, rainbow prism, for free. And she even created a website for the guys that they could book their appointment and go. And it just was too far out of the city and they didn't make it. But I was like, she was so excited and so like ready for them and they just didn't make it.
Oh my God, though, eyelash extensions.
Well, she did say it's going to be kind of arduous. And
I was like,
it takes a long time
Yeah.
and then you got to get them taken off.
Yeah.
Well, don't you just keep them on until they fall off? Keep them on forever.
No, eyelash extensions you have to get like taken off. Like sometimes they do fall off like the adhesive, but they're like in there.
Stay forever.
Stay forever.
Glue your
Stay
eyes shut.
forever.
Yeah.
Stay forever.
Wow, that's so fun. So you're the one who researches all the places and is like, these are the places to go.
Yeah. And I think we're going to like, hopefully when we do more is look into like a little mix of how Miami went where like just enough is unpredictable and then stuff that is. Cause I think if you watch the later episodes, they were all great episodes, but like there's still some chaos that we want to throw in the mix too. I actually thought of you. What is it that you said once that your show?
You're inspiring Becky.
Becky Gotcha?
Becky Gotcha. Yes. I want to build Becky Gotcha into dropping it. And you know what it is?
People.
Do you know what it is?
That would be amazing.
It would
You have
be
to
like
do this.
when you do a task, you find out that you actually like finished it, but Becky Gotcha, there's no points. Isn't that good? Becky Gotcha.
You could do a little video of Becky being like, Becky Gotcha.
Yeah, Becky Gotcha.
You don't
Becky
get any
Gotcha.
points.
No points.
Can we talk about Becky Gotcha though? Like I am obsessed with
We
it.
did. We talked. I mean,
I
you
wanna
heard it.
do
You
it.
heard it here.
You're just hiding in someone's house,
Yeah.
right?
Hiding somewhere.
Yeah, sometimes
Doesn't have to be a
set.
house.
It doesn't even have to be a
I
house.
think it's a great idea.
It could be a set. It could be the old Sleep No More set. What are they doing with it? Anything?
Yeah, it's true.
What are they going to do?
Who knows?
No more sleep, no more.
No more sleep, no more.
No
so
more sleep,
let me hide.
Becca got. I'm Becca Gotcha. Becky Gotcha. I want to do it.
Becca Gotcha will be the British version. That'll be the extension. Becky Gotcha.
That'd be great.
But Paul,
Yes.
we love that you're a talented professional. But what we came to have you, what we came here for, what we wanted you here for, was you have a long list of grievances.
I do.
You're our accountability partner.
I do.
Now, everyone
account
who
for us.
listens to this podcast knows everything we say 100% of the time is factual and well-researched and
Becky, you know what?
Extensive fact-checking process.
extensive
Yeah.
Becky, we do our
fact-checking.
best, okay? We do our best.
You certainly do. And it
We
shows.
try, but we don't try hard enough sometimes. Paul.
Yeah.
What was the episode that made you say,
what was the episode?
People?
It was right around this time last year when you came on as the expert to talk about the Oscars, which you didn't attend and I don't think you watched.
I watched Eugene on it.
Okay. Yeah. But then stood on something.
Stood on a hill and said there are governors.
The
governors. And when you said the governors, I almost drove off the road. I was like, it's the governor's ball. And there is a governor, I believe, but the governors, it's the members of the Academy vote. They're not all governors.
Yeah, and the members of the foreign press, obviously.
That too, yes.
And the foreign press votes too, right?
After Matt says the Academy, you go, isn't it the Hollywood foreign press that votes on that? And I was just like, these children. These children. And I can say that around you too, because you are children next to me.
What's wrong with that?
It's not accurate. It's not the Hollywood foreign press does the Golden Globes, which we know.
They vote for the Golden Globes.
Okay. Yeah, we know.
Okay. And the Oscars are voted on by the Academy, and that's how that works. There, I think, over you did get one thing right, that there's a little over 10,000 members of the Academy, and it's not confidential, but the new members are announced, and then the list almost disappears. Because I actually looked it up before I came on. You cannot find a full list of the Academy.
We don't know who's voting.
No.
Maybe one of us in this room is voting.
It's not me.
It's Rainie. Rainie's voting.
Rainie this whole time has been a member of the Academy. But yeah. And my relationship with the Oscars too is as a teenager and college in years, I was obsessed with the Oscars. Who was nominated, who's going to win.
Yeah.
And then the Shakespeare in Love thing happened, about Shakespeare in Love, essentially the theory being that they kind of bought their Oscar. Do you not know this?
No, I thought you were going to say when Green Book won, because that's when I left.
So Green Book was beset by Shakespeare in Love. Shakespeare in Love, when both Gwyneth won and the movie won, because Gwyneth beat Cate Blanchett for Elizabeth, which everyone was like, it's Cate Blanchett and Elizabeth. Even before Cate Blanchett was what we know of, that performance was Oscar winning. That's how you win an Oscar. And then they're like, Gwyneth Paltrow, it's a good performance. She's good in it, but it's not Oscar winning. And then Shakespeare in Love beats Saving Private Ryan, which was Steven Spielberg, one director, and then Shakespeare in Love wins Best Picture. And everyone's scratching their heads.
Weird.
And then it turns out that Harvey Weinstein, head of Miramax, is the person who was getting that out there as this should be the movie that wins. And it became the industry of for your consideration. And that all existed prior to Shakespeare in Love, but it really blew up then that you could kind of buy Oscars now by favors and probably things that Harvey did in terms of bad, just holding
sounds blackmail.
Secrets,
evil
things.
Yeah.
Evil things.
So ever since then, I kind of don't this year,
you lost your faith.
I've just lost my interest that it could be anybody, because now you just see that this person did this event, or this person is, or anything that's happening right now with the actress from
that's
Amelia
crazy.
Perez is crazy, and she was a front runner, and now we don't know. But those things didn't really impact the Oscars when I was younger. You just kind of watched, and the movie that was supposed to win did win. Yeah, and it was just more fun to and I love betting on them and picking who's going to win and predicting. But now 100%. It's you're just predicting who's the industry want to win.
My question is that I still don't know is, if you're in the Academy, do you vote for all the categories?
No,
or only one category, or only certain categories?
Depending on your reason for being in the Academy, I think you vote for those particular categories. I don't necessarily think the sound effects crew, if you're in for that reason, I don't think you vote on Best Actor.
That's
96.7%.
Then who votes for Best Movie?
Who votes for Best Movie? Maybe everybody votes for Best Movie. That makes sense.
You know what one got me a couple years ago that I was it was similar of Green Book, where I was what the how did that win?
Yeah.
When that Brendan Fraser movie,
The Whale.
The Whale won for Best Makeup over Avatar, or not Avatar.
Dune.
Oh my God, I said that so loud. No.
No.
I said that with my whole chest, and it was wrong.
I know which one. Oh, Black Panther.
Black Panther.
Black Panther.
I was no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I was to look at the scale and scope, and Matt did break this down later on in our episode. We're going to do some guessing, but he put the budgets of the different movies on. And I'm like, I just don't understand when you're looking at it as a whole. There was one prosthetics team that worked on Brendan Fraser, and that beat out how many makeup artists that worked on Black Panther. Every single person in Black Panther had some sort of either elaborate makeup, elaborate hair. There were huge crowd scenes, which sure, some of it could be CGI or whatever.
Yeah.
But when that beat it, I was like, this is
well,
rigged.
this is a good example of where, because Brendan Fraser won that year. So what were the mechanics that went into getting Brendan Fraser the Oscar? Probably went into getting them makeup. And that's why it's just like, they're still so much fun to watch. I love watching them, and I will watch them, but it's just not the same as like when we used to guess. And I like in college in particular, I would organize like 30 people in the ballots and make different, I love making like twists into games and things like that. And so, yeah, it's just not nearly. You are blowing up right now.
I don't know. I got a call from Burbank. I'm like, I'm here.
You're here. She's
Hello. Hello, I'm here.
But they're still fun, yeah. And I do think that this year I'm pulling the only one I really, really want to win is Demi for The Substance. I thought that was, I think it's my favorite movie of last year. It is the craziest. Has everyone seen it?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but I'm not going to. I'm
scared.
scared.
And I respect that. Like,
I respect
my
that.
sister and I went back and forth for like 2 months where I was like, you have to watch The Substance, but you can't watch The Substance. Like, it's that type of movie. Like, I need you to watch it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so good. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Why is it that everyone talks about red flags, which is a symbol of danger or a problem? Why can't we talk more about green flags or things that we appreciate and make us happy? What aspects of your relationships with others do you value most? If you're not sure what they look like, therapy can help you identify these green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself. At You Can Sit With Us, we love therapy. It's helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself, and it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy that much more affordable and convenient. You have access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, and you can easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/sitwithus to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/sitwithus. So I think this is a perfect turning point for us to give our predictions for this year. And I only chose a couple of categories that are my favorite categories because some of them I don't know anything about. You know, sound mixing.
Just some of them?
Matt doesn't care.
Not all of them.
Care.
These are the ones I enjoy watching. Them announce it, you know? So first one is Best Motion Picture. Who do you think is going to win for Best Motion Picture? Or who do you want to win?
Okay, so Think and Want are different.
Yeah, two different.
Think
who do you want to win?
Want to win The Substance.
Okay, Substance.
I think Amelia Perez will win.
You think so?
And I don't want it to.
Did you see all of Amelia Perez?
I saw 2 hours of it, and then I was like, I don't.
It wasn't my
care.
favorite.
I don't care about this film.
It wasn't mine either.
Yeah.
What do you want to win, Vicky?
I mean, I want Wicked.
Wicked.
Obviously.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But I actually, the one that I really wanted to win, or at least be nominated, that I'm like, this is why you don't release movies early in the year. Challengers.
Oh, really?
Challengers snubbed everywhere.
That's true.
Including
like no nominations.
music.
Huh?
Trent Reznor.
Yeah, the music
Come
is shocking.
on.
Hitting of the
That score
balls.
was not.
Yeah.
But I was not a Challengers girl.
Really?
You don't want to be
You
the
don't like
POV of a tennis ball?
That last tennis match, I was like, please. I was getting rattled by it, but it was. I appreciate
think
and
that was
respect
the
it.
point.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Was that the point? Was it supposed to be a sit back and chill little scene?
Yeah.
So I would have loved if one of those won. But I think based on what the internet tells me, because I've only seen a few
But I haven't seen all
of
either.
the flicks, I hear The Brutalist is high up for winning.
Did you watch The Brutalist?
I'm not going 3.5 hours.
Eugene and I watched it. Yeah.
Or did you see it?
I did. It is very beautiful.
Okay.
But it is also like very calming. It's like one of the ones that's like kind of enjoyable to watch. It's not like Challengers.
Right.
It's like very calming, beautiful music, beautiful scenery.
Okay.
You know, like a lot of parts are in black and white and stuff. So it's very like, you know, like the story of a lifetime type thing.
Okay.
So it was nice, but it wasn't my favorite of the year.
What was your favorite?
I really liked The Substance.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked Wicked. And I really liked I'm Still Here.
Oh.
The Brazilian
I
film.
haven't
I
watched
loved
that
it.
one.
It was
Okay.
so good.
Is that nominated for picture?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
it is. Yeah, the other ones up for picture are Conclave.
Which I loved.
I loved Conclave, was so good. And then Nickel Boys, I didn't see.
You liked Denora.
I liked
You liked
Nora,
Nora.
I didn't see Nora.
but it wasn't my favorite of the year.
Yeah.
No. But it was good. I would watch Nora again.
Okay.
I'd watch parts of Denora again.
Oh, it's like, no, I'm not.
I'd
No,
watch
I wanna
parts
see
of
it.
Denora
Oh,
again.
see
you
it.
haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it yet. And then Dune Part 2 is also up.
You're a Dune person.
You're a Dooney.
I'm a Dooney. I'm a Dune head.
Do you think it should
I'm a
be?
Dune head. No. Oh my God, no. It was good.
Yeah.
It was like what you wanted the second Dune movie to be. Best Picture, no.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I mean, Dooney 2 was a large budget too. They hit $190 million.
It needed it. Did you see that snake?
That was a really good impression of that.
I mean,
I did a dog bark earlier.
Oh,
she's
Yeah.
looking
they're
forward to
making
So I'm
hearing
animal
pretty
that.
good.
sounds as
I'm
of
making
late.
animal sounds.
So mine-
No, I love Dune 2, but
Yeah.
no, I don't think it should be there. And I loved The Substance. I think it's too weird for the
Yeah,
Academy
it probably
to
is.
vote for. But where I
Maybe
do
they need to
think
break
they
up.
will vote for it
Makeup.
is, well, no, I hope they do
Oh
makeup
my
because
God.
it was so practical. But I think Demi Moore will hopefully win for Best Actress.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next one I was doing was makeup and hair.
Okay. It's got to be
I feel like it has to be
Substance
It could be that or
Substance. I feel like it
Wicked.
has to
or
be.
Wicked.
Or Wicked. Cynthia Erivo had fake ears.
Yeah.
Could you notice? Could you tell?
Huh.
I
I
mean-
actually wait. Oh, because it was green. Why?
No, because she has so many piercings in her ears.
What about?
that? It would be.
That's true because she does have a lot.
Yeah, it would have been longer because you have to like kind of fill it with putty when you have those holes. Otherwise, you see them.
Oh.
So it would have taken longer than just putting a fake ear over it.
Oh my
So
gosh.
she couldn't even hear right.
Yeah,
Like
did that
muffled.
mess with her singing?
Yeah.
Because she sang live on set, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
So I think
Wow.
Wicked
What a
or the
star she is.
Substance.
Wicked
She's a
was yeah.
star.
And I
What
actually,
about Nosferatu? Did you see
I
Nosferatu? though?
did.
They had pretty good.
The makeup was great. I didn't love the movie.
No?
No.
Oh my God, I love Nosferatu.
Did you see it?
Mm-mm.
I'm not gonna like. He's the whole the trailer. No, not the trailer. The teaser line for the movie is he is coming. So you know that he is like coming. It takes him so long to get there, and then once he's there, it takes 3 days for him to do what he's gonna do. I was like, please, Nosferatu, get on with it.
You wanted a faster
I
timeline.
wanted to just like, you're a bad guy. Like, get on with it. And he's just like
Yeah.
walking around a
Get
lot.
on with it,
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt.
I
Not
mean,
Nicholas
I
Holt.
saw the
Oh, he's
story.
not?
He's the good guy.
Oh, dang.
my God,
Dang it.
He's not the vampire.
Yeah, Bill's.
Well, now I'm
I saw
definitely
it-
not
I saw
seeing
it more
Oh,
as-
now
Yeah.
I'll definitely
Yeah.
see it. He's hot.
Well, he's
I like
not in
it.
this. Well, I mean, depends what your taste is.
Oh my God.
I mean, his makeup is crazy.
The makeup's
It's-
incredible. Yeah. That
gross.
first shot of him
It's
coming out of the
gross.
coffin.
Yeah, gross. Honestly, scary.
Yeah.
Jump scare.
Yeah.
Jump
There are a couple
scare.
little jump scares in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want the Substance to win that. That'd be
Yeah.
so good. What about Best Actress?
Demi.
You think Demi?
I think Demi, but I would love if Cynthia Erivo won.
Yeah. She's got another chance though.
Yeah, she's got the part too.
I still really liked I'm Still Here
Okay.
with Fernanda Torres.
And that's apparently like a really beautiful story because I think
It
her
is.
mother was also
Yeah.
nominated years ago
Yeah.
for I forget what movie it was, but that would be really cool too.
Mhm. And her mother's in the movie.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Aw,
So it is.
Can you imagine being in a
Beautiful
movie with your
Virgin
mom and just having that forever?
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
So
that is sweet.
it is.
That is sweet,
Beautiful.
but my
You gotta
parents
see
weren't
it.
actors, so no foot in the door over here.
No, fun
Kim and
movie.
Don.
Maybe you and Henny someday.
No,
Be in a movie together, no?
Not that baby.
Okay.
Not that baby.
You never know.
Yeah.
He's
You
not
have
going to be
to-
an actor.
He has
He'll
those
have a stage name.
entertainment.
No one will know that it's
He
him.
has the entertainment genes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
He's
got
son,
that it factor.
You know? Yeah. Okay, how about production design? Which sets?
Oh,
Did you
Wicked.
love?
Wicked.
Wicked.
For sure.
Wicked.
So principal.
I mean,
Yeah.
that one was like,
That was a real
Crazy
train.
budget.
They built so much of it. Oh.
yeah, that
The
one was
tulips.
crazy budget.
Yeah.
So many tulips.
The little sandbox with the
Yeah.
Yellow Brick Road. I thought that was really pretty.
I need to also just correct that I want Wicked to win Best Picture maybe more than Substance. I saw it 3 times in the theater.
It's
Really?
so
It
I was
good.
committed.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's the best.
I'd be happy if either of
is.
them won.
The other ones for production design are The Brutalists, Nosferatu, and Dune.
Mm.
Dude, what's the production design? It was sand.
Well, they have like the beautiful underground,
Sand.
the beautiful
but
underground
for the
cave
production
structures
designers.
Yeah.
and
Really?
stuff.
Thanks, Becky.
The production designers who are listening to this are like, that fucking bitch.
They're actually like sand. Sand is the most difficult thing to decorate with, Becky.
No, they also had
It just
to do
keeps sliding.
they had to do the underground with the water,
Yeah.
and then they always got to have the gooey
There
man.
are some beautiful things, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think Wicked.
I think Wicked. For
I think
sure.
Wicked,
I
yeah.
hope there's a Wicked suite, but I don't know if there's gonna be a Wicked suite.
No, I don't think so.
How are the politics of the Oscars? Like what's Wicked up against in terms of, do you think the Academy Award winners or the Academy is not going to pick Wicked?
It's because there's so many things that go into that. Like the fact that John M. Chu was not nominated for director, which is
Crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Means that it's now not going to be a best picture like favorite because usually the winner, they're at least nominated.
Yeah.
Means like it's like a sign
nod,
that the
yeah.
picture might win. There's also like to your point, the politics. Like Amelia Perez is taking a huge hit now because of what's happening with Carla. Thank you. That the movie might take a hit.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Carla is like that all goes into it. Like they're working overtime right now in publicity to get that story out. And they it's still about the movie.
Boost
It's the
back
movie.
up.
Well, and you know what?
Amelia.
I saw something. Tell me if it's true or not. She had commented on another movie that was nominated.
Yes.
And she got in trouble.
Yes, it was.
Tell us about this.
So that was.
Tell us about
this.
it.
She came out and said, I think it was Fernando Torres.
Yeah.
And that like the narrative of that being such a great performance is a little bit like heightened right now when nobody is talking about my movie anymore, or something to that extent.
my
And it was
gosh.
just like, everyone's talking about Amelia Perez. So, but I think that she's also conflating a little bit there that there has been, rightly so, some anti-trans rhetoric connected to Amelia Perez. And that is something that we hate.
Right.
But that you can't sort of jumble that all into one tweet and make it sound like, oh, I should get attention because Fernando Torres is getting more attention than me is what came out. But then the tweets that resurfaced are abhorrently awful. And she has claimed that she was the writer of them and that's not her anymore. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
She didn't even
Ruh-roh.
like delete them before.
You know, but that's the thing. These detectives, I mean, these tweets did not come out until her nomination was locked. So there is something to that somebody found those tweets somewhere and surfaced them right at that moment where it would affect her nomination, for sure. Your face is so sweet that like you think Hollywood is not this place. It's like this is like yeah. And I love that. Like it's so that's what is also great about the Tri-Fam is that like this world is not the entertainment industry. Like there are so many things that like even working just in
all
mostly reality
politics.
TV,
Yeah.
there's so much politic and like gross stuff that happens behind the scenes that most people are not aware of.
Yeah.
Another topic for another day.
Well, the last one I want to talk about is cinematography.
Okay.
Which was the most beautifully shot, do you think?
I mean, this one feels like maybe brutalist to your point.
The
no?
Brutalist, Nosferatu, Maria. Did you guys see the one about Maria Callas?
No.
No.
No, with
With,
Angelina.
Angelina
Angelina
Jolie.
Jolie?
That was beautiful. Actually.
Was it?
That one was
No.
that
You saw
might be
a
my
lot.
fave.
Wait, Matt, I didn't know you watched this many movies.
Eugene makes them.
Oh, okay.
Eugene makes me watch so many things. He's like, this is my work. A Dune and then Amelia Perez.
Your face.
I don't know how that could be in the same category for cinematography as The Brutalist or even Nosferatu.
Nosferatu.
Especially 'cause,
Eugene actually really loved the cinematography in Nosferatu. He was like, this is amazing.
It was beautiful
And I was like,
and stark.
the stylistic choices.
But Amelia Perez, I have to say, with cinematography, for a movie that has that many song and dance numbers, I was never like riveted by the song and dance numbers. They were all kind of clumsy, film schooly looking at times.
Yeah.
I didn't like Wicked's. Is that
Especially compared to
cinematography?
Wicked. No.
What?
For the book tapping
The book tap?
alone, that shot and the slow pulling back.
Oh my god, that whole scene deserves an Oscar.
Yeah.
That is my comfort scene.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
So we'll have to see.
Interesting.
It's coming out soon.
We will.
The Oscars. We'll see who wins.
You know what I think's interesting?
See who the governors vote for.
See who the governors and the
See who
Hollywood Foreign Press votes for.
Yes.
No, you know what I think's interesting, and that I don't think enough people realized when the actors were striking, or when like IATSE went on strike. Like when you're looking at the studios that are making these, some of these are old, established, Focus, Warner Brothers, blah blah blah, and then you have Netflix. And Netflix is not new media anymore. If you win an Oscar, you are not new media. If you're nominated for an Oscar, you are not new media. So you need to pay your employees as if they're working at a production studio, because they are. That's how they get away with all these things, as they say. Netflix says, we're new media, we're not a big studio. You are you've won an Oscar.
Yeah.
You did
it.
Roma.
Their biggest quarter, their fourth quarter last year was like their biggest quarter ever. And then we all got a price. You got like, we always have to quit in our household. Like we can only be, and that's policed by me. Nick is always like, goes to watch something on Netflix. And I was like, not this month, sweetie. But you got Hulu, you got Peacock, you got
That's
plenty
the
of
new
other
thing.
things.
Yeah, that's the new thing.
Yeah, like you can't.
No, there's too many
$18 a month for
subscriptions.
Netflix.
There's too many subscriptions.
Yeah.
You got to wait for your favorite shows.
Yeah. And then you just binge them all and you switch over to something else. Although we'll always be Peacock people because we watch so much Bravo. We can't.
Yeah. That's the only reason that I got Peacock was so I could watch the Vanderpump reunions with the cursing.
Oh, yeah. And they were so
the bleeping
good.
where
my
like,
God.
I was like, enough with I can't handle the bleeping. They're all swearing so much.
Yeah.
So Paul, did you want to work in reality TV because you loved reality TV, or did you love reality TV because you worked in it?
That is a great question. And one that is really going to age myself is that when I started working in reality TV, there really wasn't reality TV. I was very much like my first job in Hollywood was I worked on a sitcom as a production assistant. And then the way of working back then was like, you just have to keep working. Like you can't, and I know that's still the case, but like you just go wherever the opportunities present themselves. Yeah. And I went on a date. And the guy I went on a date with was not date material, but he did connect me to a company called Authentic Entertainment. And they ended up becoming the production company that did Jeff Lewis's show Flipping Out. They did Ace of Cakes. They did Honey Boo Boo actually as well.
Oh, wow.
And because they did Toddlers and Tiaras first. But when I started there, their head of development was like trying to just come up with show ideas. Like this is a new growing network, seemed to want cheap, fun, fast shows, and this is how we can do it. And I was an assistant, and I just like hung up a bulletin board, and I was like, why don't I make cards for all the shows that you want to sell? And then I just became, because of that, like the development coordinator. This was like I think their first show that they sold, I was there when it happened, but it was like really like one of the first. It was a show to TLC when TLC was just starting to do reality TV. It was the Learning Channel. That's what TLC stands for.
The Learning Channel.
Learning about other people's lives.
Yeah.
And from there, that's when I left there and went to Mark Burnett and just kept doing development for reality, and then to VH1, to TLC, all those places. So I kind of fell into it, but it was right. I mean, when I worked on the sitcom, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to write scripts. And for the people that have followed that path, I give them so much respect. Like writing in this town, I have friends that have worked on like multiple sitcoms. And then when the sitcom ends, you're just back out again and hustling. And because of reality being a little bit leaner and the shows are easier to come up with, but like there's just a more of a need for reality TV, or there was. I kept working on a different job. There was always positions for that. And then that's when like 5 or 6 years ago, I left that because TV shows even 5 or 6 years ago just weren't selling the way they used to. And that's when I pivoted to being a digital producer and started working with Genie and all these other shows that I produced.
Right.
And I always thought like I would not be a good freelancer because, the uncertainty of jobs and where they'd come from. And Nick was always freelancing. Like I had staff jobs and he was freelancing on different feature films. And then we switched. And it turns out he is much better equipped at being someone who works in a full-time job. And I am much better at freelancing. So it's like a nice little trading there.
Role switch. Yeah.
We've been lucky to sort of, one of us can carry the benefits, so to speak, because that's
important in these days.
And thanks to Chapel Rome last night speaking out for all freelancing. Like she spoke to musical artists, but like every company, if you employ people within that company and Netflix, give them benefits. People,
Chapel's speech at the Grammys.
It was amazing. It was like cheering for her last night. So that's kind of how I landed where I am. But I will say now, like, it's getting tough again. There's very little work right now in Hollywood in creating content. And I'm very fortunate to have opportunities here. And I worked on a lot of different things last year. I went to Saudi Arabia last year, which was kind of crazy to work on a project. And
like e-gaming.
With e-gaming. Because now, like, at a time where everybody is making content, there should be a need for it. But I think because our phones are essentially production studios, everyone's kind of doing it on their own now. So I'm like trying to find people who are like, you can do it on your own, but I promise I can do it better. Like, how can I help? How can I help? What can I do?
Elevate it.
Elevate it.
Yeah. You're working on a game. That's a game, like a video game?
No, it was a company that, it's such a crazy thing, but they sponsored an esports team. So a team that played esports.
I see.
And they were competing in the esports World Cup, which happened to be in Saudi Arabia. I went there to produce a series that was kind of like adjacent to what they were doing there.
And then you were on your way home. You actually made a YouTube video about it.
Yes, you made a whole video.
Yes.
What did you do?
So I hadn't traveled internationally in a while, and I'm like, I'm going to Saudi Arabia, which is really far away. Like, I wonder if I can try to, and my layover is in Germany. I was like, I should just see if they'll let me extend my layover and I can hang out in Germany. And I swear to you, in that split second thought, I was like, where is Taylor right now? And I look up.
Because you had already seen her at this point.
I had seen her in Los Angeles.
Twice.
This is Taylor Swift, by the way.
No.
I speak of her as though, like, you know, my girlfriend Taylor.
Maybe if that's Taylor.
I had seen the Eras tour in Los Angeles 2 years ago. And the movie many times. And
you had a party at your house
for your birthday party. We saw the movie.
And the Eras ball.
So fun.
And so I looked up while I was in Saudi Arabia, like, where is she right now? And she happens to be in Germany the day after my layover. Now, she was in Frankfurt. No, I flew into Frankfurt. She was in Hamburg, which is 3.5 hour train ride. And I was like, I'm making this happen. And I checked with Nick. I was like, are you cool if I stay on like 48 more hours and go see Taylor Swift? He's like, live your life. God bless. You're going to do great. Good luck. Like, I can't believe it. It seems impossible, but go for it.
Yeah.
I look on StubHub because it's sold out, obviously. And the resale tickets for Germany were $300 for floor seats.
Oh my God.
That's crazy, but I have heard that in Europe, the resale is a lot less crazy than our resale is.
Well, even just the regular tickets here are 10 times more expensive than that. It's crazy.
So I landed at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I hopped on a train, got to Frankfurt. I went out that night, and this is all in the movie, so you can check it out. But I went out that night. I met Swifties in the town. We all hung out. I felt like 25 years old again. I felt so young. It was so fun. And then the next day I got up and like walked the city, and I went to see her by myself on the floor. It started raining for the first 30 minutes, which as a Swiftie, if you know, is a very magical thing.
Wow.
And it was like truly one of the most magical nights of my life. And then the next morning, my flight out was at noon. So I had to get on a train at like 7 in the morning the next morning to get back.
If you miss that,
you're just...
That's it.
But it was worth it. It was like, I will never forget it. And now because I filmed the whole thing, because I was like, if this works out, it's going to make such a good video.
Yeah.
And that is something that like, I think I mentioned to you is that like, working with the Try Guys has inspired me in a way that being in the industry, like nothing has before. Because like I said, with the entertainment industry as it was, you'd come up with an idea, you'd write it, and then it would just blow away. Like nobody would buy it or whatever. And it takes like a lot out of you. Like I really came up with some very good ideas, and you'd put all this like work into the writing or shoot a sizzle. Like a sizzle reel is essentially a tape that you show to somebody to sell the show. So we'd like make a video to sell the show. And you'd also get those people that you're filming excited because they're like, I'm going to be on TV. And then it doesn't sell. And everyone's just like, oh, so what now?
Yeah.
And there's something so magical that you see happen here that when an idea comes up, like not everything is made, but when it comes up, people are like, okay, we could do this. We could try this. How about this way? How about that way? And then it gets made. And I thought about that when I was in Saudi Arabia, like, they would do this. They would film themselves and just like see what happens. And if it doesn't become a video, it doesn't become a video. It turns out it's like a 35-minute video that I can go back to. And I do often. I go back to like rewatch it and remember what it was like to sort of be there and with all those Swifties and that magical night.
So fun.
Was it super different from the US tour or was it the same?
So much chiller.
Oh
my God. Yes. Because I thought like I'm going to be on the floor. I'm going to be packed in.
Yeah.
And
you're in the Taylor Swift mosh pit.
Yeah.
I see.
I got out there and they give you a bracelet. You go down to the floor and you can see like the whole space is open. And a friend of mine had been on the floor and I think she was even in Europe for it. And she's like, you get there at 3 o'clock, you get up against the stage, you stay there. And I was like, and she's like, and you go to the bathroom. And she was also considering she was maybe going to wear a diaper.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I'm not doing any of that. I am not wearing a diaper to Taylor Swift. What I did do is I got there, I stood there and I looked around and I was like, I had my bracelets and I was like, I'm just going to start trading bracelets and talking to people. So we did. And we were all like, got along. And then I'm up like right next to the stage and the show just starts. And I was like, is this real life? Like it was like being at the Taylor Swift club show. Yeah. That's how like close you were.
Cool.
And she's just right there the whole time. And I was
So cool.
It was incredible.
Did you ever make eye contact?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
She's looked into your eyes.
There's one point where you see in the video, because I filmed a lot of the show, and she just looks right at, and I was like, we just made eye contact magically. I mean, not in the way that she does, because she really does interact with people. If she sees someone filming, she'll give them like a wink or that sort of thing. I wasn't that close, but I still felt like she saw me. For sure.
In my heart, I know she looked at you.
Yeah. And she'll see this video. I know it. Taylor Nation will pick up on and get this video.
How do you guys feel? Like, and I'm curious about you two too, but like going to a concert alone, because I'm very pro going to a bunch of stuff alone, but concert I think would intimidate me. Did you stress out about it, or were you like, it's okay? Well,
I did not, because I like solo stuff. I really like. I enjoy. I go to a movie by myself. There's a little thing in. Nick's gonna laugh. I did the AMC movie pass thing.
A
couple nights. Yeah, A-list.
Preferred, of course.
And there would be some nights that, like, if he was in Palm Springs, I was like, I'm going on a little me date, and I went to Cheesecake Factory. I got a glass of wine. I got an appetizer and go see a movie. And like 3 or 4 times, he was like, when do I get to come on this date? And I was like, someday.
It's like
I finally
all the
did
fun
take him.
stuff without
One
me.
day.
I finally did take him to Cheesecake Factory, and we saw Wicked. But concert-wise, I've been to a few concerts by myself, and here's what I'll say that I think you will like, is that you, like, if you want to, especially if you're standing in general admission and you like are staking out your claim, I'm not the person that like wants to be up against the stage or has to be in a certain spot. You can come and go as you please, and you never have to be like, I'll be right back, or can you hold, like, you just come and go as you please. And that was very enticing for Taylor, because I would imagine that anyone I would have went with would be like, we're staying here. Yeah. You go get drinks, I'll do this. And this was just like, no, I want to hang around and want to talk to people. And you could maybe meet someone at a concert. Who knows? Like I did bracelet trading, and they're friends for one night, and then we move on.
But a bracelet is forever.
A bracelet is forever. Oh, that's sweet. I do have all my bracelets from Germany. They're all very
the mementos.
Yeah.
I've never gone to a concert. I went to one, not alone, but we weren't sitting together. Olivia Rodrigo did this like secret show in LA that you could do the digital tickets for, and me, Keith, Rachel, and Joey were all trying to put our names in over and over and over. And then it looked like we weren't going to get the tickets. And then I got one that had 2 tickets, and then Rachel or Joey got one that had 2 tickets. So we were able to go.
Oh, yeah.
And I also think, or maybe we got 3, or Zach. For some reason, Zach stayed home and watched Henry.
That's sweet.
It like
That's
worked
cute.
out where we were like, we can take one of the Bustamante Kornfelds. You need to fight each other to the death for it.
Yeah.
But it was this intimate little show, and we all had seats, and we ended up like trading. And Keith and I weren't sitting by each other. But I loved it.
Yeah.
People next to me, little weirdos. I loved them.
Yeah.
They knew all the words. I knew all the words.
You guys were just like
The communal
absolutely
singing.
Just vibing together. Yeah. Yeah. Somebody came up to Keith afterwards and told him like, oh, I saw you singing. Like you knew the words. And he's like, yeah.
The other
I'm here.
I'm a fan.
The other thing too with buying tickets and going by yourself is that I don't know if you ever find this, but you have certain friends that are like, if you're going to see Beyonce, I need to get tickets. And I'm usually the one who gets the pre-sale code. I enjoy, there's a thrill I get from getting the tickets.
Yeah.
But I can't promise, I can't get everybody tickets. Like there's only so many you can get, and you don't want to be responsible for. So like, if you just go by yourself, then you just took care of yourself, and you are good, and you have a lovely night. And like someone say, you brought Joe to the concert, not me. Like, no, I brought myself to the concert. We had a lovely time.
Yeah.
Nice.
You were supposed to be our ticket procurer for Sabrina Carpenter. We never did it. We tried.
I tried 4 different times to get in there. And even day of, I was trying to get
I was like,
tickets.
I gave him a price limit. I was like, okay, if you can find it for under this ticket, I'll cancel all my plans today and go. But I'm not paying. I'm not paying BTS prices for Sabrina Carpenter right now.
I think we made a mistake. Based on that Grammys performance last night. Did you see the Grammys performance last night?
It was really
She's
cute.
the funniest person.
She's funny.
Really funny.
She should be like, remember like, do you know the Naked Gun or Airplane, like spoof movies? Scary movie?
A little bit. Airplane,
like spoofs. That genre doesn't exist anymore because everyone's
Spaceballs.
like, Spaceballs, like those types of movies. Sabrina Carpenter should be the person that brings us
Revival.
back. She's so funny. She gets comedy. Like when she came down the stairs and just kept going down, like that's those types of movies.
Yeah. It was she has a good shtick.
She's so funny.
I like her shtick.
Yeah.
I like her costume team and makeup. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're working.
Hair.
She always looks stunning.
Hair. She always looks
Hair.
really.
Yeah.
She doesn't look very young.
Yeah.
Stamped.
Yeah.
She's like 21.
Yeah. So she looks
I'm like, did we look that beautiful at 21?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I do.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about, so we talked about working in reality, you working in reality, but you're also a reality TV fiend.
Yes.
And speaking,
Ooh.
What are your
Yes.
favorite shows? Who are
Let's
your
get
favorite
started.
personages?
So it's all Bravo. 95% of what I consume on television is Bravo. And that's also because Nick and I watch it. No,
95%.
truly. Because it's like, we watch smart TV too. And I don't even discount that. We watch like scripted TV as well. Every so often we have a show like we're doing Fleischman is in Trouble
Oh, yeah.
right now. But it's like, we watch one of those like once a month. And it's usually like, we sit down for dinner and Nick's like, do you want to watch Housewives? And I was like, yes. Or should
like,
we do something
obviously-
smart tonight and do Fleischman? Which is... but our Bravo stuff is like every housewife, probably. We watch every Housewives, Vanderpump, whenever it returns. I just started one called Southern Hospitality that's very good. Very messy. It's like a younger Southern Vanderpump. I think you would like it. Very messy. And a lot of gayness, actually. There's a lot of gay guys. And I think like...
The gays are everywhere.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Gross.
everywhere.
RuPaul's Drag Race, as we've talked about many
Yes.
times.
RuPaul's Drag Race. Who's your front runner?
Lexi Love.
She was mine too.
Love Lexi Love.
Yeah, love
I
Lexi
think
Love.
she's
Loving
funny.
Lexi Love.
Auntie Grandma.
Yeah, Auntie Grandma.
Auntie
Yep.
Grandma.
And I just actually binged. I've been catching up on Love Is Blind because I do think it's a brilliant concept. And I just binged season 4, and that was great.
Do you watch them in the other countries? Because now they're like
I would, but
Love
some
is
of the,
Blind Norway, not Love is Blind
some of the ones. So
Germany, Love is
a
Blind.
lot of these shows, like why I binge them too, is I'll be crafting and I can't watch the screen if I'm like sewing, so I can't do the subtitles unless they dub them. If they dub them, I would watch them. But the good thing about Love Is Blind is that I can craft and not be watching the whole time and just hear what's
I mean,
happening.
they're not seeing and you're not seeing. You know?
Ooh. Depth. Matthew.
Not just a pretty face.
He is such a pretty
So meta. So meta.
but yeah, those are the ones that are always in rotation.
Traders?
Yes, but I'm a couple behind. You talked about it already, but we just watched the Bob the Drag Queen, which I can't believe that ending. Unfortunately, you didn't know that happened. That's so funny.
Nope.
But yeah,
Saw it
Traders
later.
and you haven't
Saw
watched
it
any of the
later.
old seasons, have you?
No, we tried
Street Tours.
one of the first seasons when it first came out in the US, and then we didn't follow up. But my friends were like, you should watch that because it makes the stakes better because
Yes.
it's normal people and
I agree.
celebos.
Yes.
Where now it's like the money doesn't really matter to them because they're celebos.
And somebody made a good point that like Zac Efron's brother does not play these types of games.
Yes.
Like he looked intimidated in these moments. So it's fun to see that kind of mix
His struggle.
spread out more where non-reality people are kind of like shaking in their boots, but they step up to it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all the reality stars weren't reality stars at one point, right? Like they were all just normal people.
That's here too.
Yeah.
Deep.
You know, they weren't always reality
I
stars.
nominate Becky to be on Traders.
You would be great on Traders.
I would
For a second try.
love
You would
nominate
be
Becky.
to
terrific
be on
Traders.
Traders.
I think
would
you would be
love
too.
it.
I mean, I've actually never seen this show, but
That would make you a fantastic trader. Like, I don't even watch the show.
Yeah. I think, well, that was,
so.
did you see the one housewife from Dubai was like, I thought when these people were saying they were survivors,
Yeah.
they had survived like floods and
Yeah.
she didn't know it was a show.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting the idea of right. I like the idea that they're putting different reality show people together, like Gabby Windy from The Bachelorette competing against people from Survivor.
against
Like,
Bob the Drag Queen.
Against Bob the Drag Queen.
Yeah.
Like these Survivor people
Totally
are
different
used to like
skills.
holding onto a rope for 12 days or whatever they do on Survivor.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like becoming emaciated.
Yeah.
And like Gabby Windy's used to being in like a nice mansion, hanging out. You don't have your cell phone, but what are you going to do?
And when you go back to watch old seasons, the people that you think, like the ones that are like the Survivor, the toughest people, they don't make it as far as sometimes the people that just fall back and let things play out and then dive in.
Oh, for sure. That would be my strategy going
The
in.
strategy is
100%. Do not be the first person to
in the
suggest
walls.
anything. Just kind of hang out. Because you know what? You know who nobody thinks is a traitor? Chriselle.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not a traitor, but
Right.
her hatred of Tom Sandoval from the
my
jump
God.
was a great way to go.
And what a way to get
What
us
a way to
all
go.
on her team is hate Sandoval.
Oh
And we're
my
just-
God. Nobody
true.
hates Sandoval more than the editors of Traitors. The way that they edit this man
Totally.
to look even dopier than he is.
Which is shocking that they still
it
can.
is so funny. The music choices that they use,
Yeah.
the clips they choose to use. I'm like, this is so funny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you want, go back to Traitors Australia, season 1, has one of the craziest endings to a TV
Traitors
show
Australia.
that I've ever seen.
Whoa.
It's like, it's brutalist level. Like it is that's like, oh my God, it's so intense. And I've shown people that are like, I'm never going to watch the whole show. I'm like, just give me the last 10 minutes, sit down and watch. And people are
Yeah.
just like,
Oh, yeah.
so even if you just watch the last 10 minutes, it will shake you.
Did I ever tell you I have an idea for a podcast? Somebody can have it because we're not going to make it.
Never say never, Becky. Never say never.
Somebody else can
Curious
have it.
what- yeah, maybe we'll do it. Who
Okay.
knows?
So it's a TV show. It's a podcast where you'd watch the first episode of a TV show.
Mhm.
And there's one person who's never seen the show before. And there's one person who's seen the entire the show in its entirety.
Mhm.
And then the podcast is they start the episode and halfway through they watch the final episode. But the person who's never seen it before has to guess where the show's gone.
Mm.
Only by watching the first season,
okay.
the first episode.
That's
That's
very
kinda
clever.
fun.
Got to figure out
First and
who
last
makes it
episode.
to the end. Because
Yeah.
sometimes I do that with like American Idol.
Yeah.
I'll like watch
That's true.
a little clip of the first and then I'll just see who wins.
Yeah.
So doing that with like
That's a
Like,
great idea.
Lost. Could you imagine watching the first episode of Lost and then being like, well,
still alive?
what do
Yeah.
you think happens at the end?
And Love is Blind
they
would be
make
great for
it?
that too. Like what
Oh, yeah,
couples
Love is
make
Blind.
Yeah,
it.
reality show, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Watch the first episode. Tell me what happens in the
Oh my
last.
God. Do you Salt Lake City?
We watched the first season, but we didn't watch the,
The finale of Salt Lake City this year is a
Mm.
masterclass in Housewives. It is
Masterclass
it is
in Housewives.
unreal. We were like crying, laughing, cheering. It was just spectacular. I dragged Nick. And whenever something happens in Housewives, we have an agreement that I'm like, if I'm watching it and he's not, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm bringing you in. You come
Like,
on.
come here, you gotta
Yeah,
see
you gotta see this.
Is this the franchise that Jennifer Lyons is on?
Jenna Lyons.
Jenna
Yes,
Lyons.
yes, she
That was
is.
her name. I
Yeah.
used to follow her on Instagram.
She wore a
Creative
bathrobe.
director of J. Crew for a long
Yes.
time.
Mhm,
She wore a
mhm.
bathrobe
Okay,
to
yeah.
the reunion. It's amazing. She put her
Stop.
hair up in a towel and comes out in a bathrobe.
Too funny.
Oh my God.
Too funny.
Yeah.
And you've been traveling recently, Paul. You just went on a birthday weekend.
We did.
With Nick.
It was Nick's birthday on Friday of last week or Saturday. Saturday of last week.
21st birthday.
Yes.
21,
The
freshly.
and we went up to the Russian River Valley, which was
wine
awesome.
country.
I had never been there before. It was beautiful.
Ooh.
It rained the entire weekend,
Yeah.
but it gave the whole area like it feels. They shot some of Return of the Jedi up there, where like
no way.
where they're zooming through the
Oh.
forest. It's those giant redwood trees.
Oh, wow.
So everything had all the trees had like moss, this really like luminescent green moss glowing in the rain.
Oh,
it was
wow.
really magical. I went to Ireland 2 years ago. Totally
That's right.
reminded me of Ireland, like just rolling hills, rainy, cozy. We stayed at a place called Dawn Ranch, which we found because they went there on the Real Housewives of Orange County. And Nick said when we were watching it, he's like, you know what? We've always talked about they get to go on the best trips. We're going to take one. We're going to go to Dawn Ranch.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
That's
We
sweet.
did, and it was a really charming little sort of like rustic cabin rooms. They had a great restaurant, really great. The person who checked us in gave us like 20 minutes on the town, and it wasn't like annoying at all. It was really, really sweet.
Oh.
And yeah, we like, it's been a tough month for everybody, and so this weekend to sort of like get away, or I should say for us Angelinos and beyond, it's been a tough month.
The United States as a whole.
Yeah. And so to get away for the weekend and also interact and meet with people that were like complete strangers for like a minute, and then we became fast friends. Like on the last night I was there, Nick and I, we'd been doing wine tasting, and he got a little tired. So he was like, I'm going to go back to bed, but you should go to the lounge and hang out for a little bit. So I brought my book. I sat down and met this couple who were there. They have 4 kids, and they decided they wanted to go away for the weekend. And they were just in the best mood to just sit and have a glass of wine. So
Vacation mood.
and there was a party happening in the room. They were both like, what kind of party? That's that little inn. Like, what party's going on in there? And then we started talking for like an hour about parenting and what it was like having like kids of different ages and their experience. He was an ER nurse, and just stories from the ER. And like, this is a person I'll never see again. And I got a sliver of an hour of his life. And I even at one point was like, I feel like I'm interrupting your time. And they're like, no, this is great. So those little magic moments at a time where the country feels so divided are nice to remember, like, no, we're all strangers until we just meet. And if we can meet on terms that are really like easy and friendly and fun over wine, it pushes aside the ones where we feel a little more separated and distant and aggressive right now, which exists too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a really, really lovely weekend. And one of my friends who lives in Yountville, which is just like outside of Napa, drove an hour and a half to come over to celebrate with Nick. And that was really nice. So it was just like a good, like, oh yeah, let's reset. Because I went into January 1st this year, like, I'm taking on the year. Like, this is gonna be my year. I even like did, because I did my like intention planning for December 1st. I started like eating better, working out, and I was like, that means you're gonna hit January 1st hard. And then January 1st hit back. It was like, so now I'm treating February as the new January. I'm gonna sleep with that.
It's the Lunar New Year. Just started.
And I actually got a great work email today too. So I'm feeling like I'm sitting here with you. It's all good energy. It's shifting.
Starting to shift.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of your trip to Ireland, because at the aforementioned Jonathan's birthday, which was a while ago.
Yes.
But we talked about your trip and writing and the writing process.
Oh yeah.
But so talk about sort of like why you went and how it was.
Thank you. So during the beginning of COVID, another really uplifting time, I was sort of like, one of my things that I was doing was like going back and revisiting old albums that I've enjoyed from the past, like that I hadn't listened to in a while, and just like giving full album listens. And one of them was this band called The Sundays. And it was an album called Static and Silence that I loved. And I put it on and I was like, like whatever happened to them? Like they were so great. And I looked up and Google knows everything. Google did not know where the Sundays were. It was crazy. Like there was no information on them. And it struck this idea in my head that was like, oh, what if like there was a book about what I wrote originally was a woman, and then it turns out I was writing myself. So it's now a gay man who travels to the country that one of his bands from his like past lives and tries to like track down the lead singer of the band and like have them meet cute. And that's the general idea I came up with. And I've always wanted to write. I wrote scripts that never really made it anywhere. And I was like, if you write a book, it doesn't have to be made. It's gonna be a book. Now, I've never written a book before, so I don't know how to write a book, but I just sat down and started writing. And this was 4 or 5 years ago, and slowly but surely been chiseling away at it. I finally am in like the last third of the book, which is exciting, but it's also the most intimidating because the first third was very much writing from myself. Like I was writing myself. I knew it. Everything in the book was my own life kind of fictionalized. The second half was the trip to Ireland, which I did 2 years ago. And so I got all that experience, and that's baked in the book. And now the third act is the most pure fiction. And it's really intimidating to sit down and write something that's not something I lived through, but just a story that I know. So it's been daunting, but it's also so rewarding to just sit down and write. Like when I'm doing it and I can get into the flow of it, I am so happy. I totally disappear. So I'm like, I'm chiseling away at it. It will. Now it's so written that it can't not be done. I know that it'll get done. And even like saying it on a podcast, like there is something sort of, I don't, like a little insufferable sometimes when someone's like, I've been writing a book. Like that's not what but like I have been writing a book, and hopefully it will be done soon. But yes, thank you for asking. And being in Ireland too, the reason I went to Ireland was that I had never been, and I'm setting a book there. So I was like, well, you got to go and see it. YouTube can only do so much. And I drove what's essentially the Wild Atlantic Way, it's called. And I knew it was going to be set like on the coast. And I stayed one night every night in a different town, just trying to discover where the book would be set. And so I did that. And that's another, inspired by the Try Guys, I filmed the entire thing. So I'll be able to create like a little either like mini movie or something about how I chose the town. And what's crazy is, no spoilers, the town that I thought it was going to be like the most romantic one is not where the book is set. There's a reason why, but I was like, it dawned on me when I was there, I was like, oh, it's totally gonna be set here. It's the most picturesque town. And then I got home and I was like, no, it's not. Because the lead singer would not live in the most picturesque town. She's trying to hide. Like she's essentially like, she's disappeared. So it's actually the town you like the least. And even that town was gorgeous. But it just like, that discovery is why I went. And it was so cool to be like, oh, I actually did discover something. But yeah, it'll be out soon. Research, yeah.
And you traveled alone.
I did, yeah. And I drove in Ireland alone, which was like amazing, but wild. There was... One last quick story is I went to dinner one night in this town called Dingle, which was the town that that was the most picturesque town. It was incredible. And again, sitting at a restaurant, and there was a table to my right where you just start talking with people, and they were like, they were from Austin, Americans from Austin, and they had come up the coast, and I was going down the coast. So in coming up the coast, they were using GPS like me, and they were like, just when you're going down, like be careful for pre-sleep, because like it's a crazy road. Like it's amazing, but I wouldn't do it again, especially like if you're driving like a little European car. So I'm going down the next day, and I'm like on a road that's like really kind of rocky and whatever. And I see a sign that's like, you're on pre-sleep right now. And it was crazy. It was one road that was this wide, so rocky, bumpy. And my little car is just like shaking. I was holding on for dear life, sweating, clammy, white, oh my God, I'm going off pre-sleep. It was the top of the world.
Oh my God.
And I filmed it. Because of course, everything's content.
Always be ABC, always be content.
Yep.
Always be content.
So thank you for asking.
Oh my gosh. Well, Matt, can you take us out?
Well, thanks so much for sitting with us today,
Thank
Paul.
you for letting
Hopefully
us
this won't be the last time.
I hope not.
Hopefully we'll have you back.
Where can the people find you?
Yes.
Speaking of content.
My Instagram is private, but I have an Instagram called PS I Found You, which is all this. I do a lot of craft work on the side, like a little side thing, and that's all there. So it's PS I Found You, and then the YouTube video is on my friend's channel. It's Noelle Thrifts, so Noelle Thrifts, and that's where all the videos are, and that's where the Taylor Swift video is.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Have to watch it.
And it's so cozy.
Thank you for watching that too.
Well, thanks so much for sitting with us.
Thank
Until
you.
next time, remember to wash your hands, pee after sex, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.